Turn of the century almost.
Yeah. I have a cousin who said he was born in that house.
That was Charlie Tracy's house.
Yep. And John Roberts lived here.
Okay, there were a few houses, residences.
One house.
Just one.
Just one house.
Okay.
And in this area here, there used to be an ice house.
An ice house. All right.
This is where they stored ice.
Yeah.
It was a big one, big house, a storage house.
Okay.
And there was two people in Fairmount that had gray lines. So one was Wilson, and the other was Shaw. And they could.
Which Wilson would that have been? Richard Wilson's dad?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And then there used to be a roundhouse out here.
Yeah, the roundhouse.
Yeah.
And there was a swimming hole where there was a bunch of cattails and kind of a water dump place, was it?
And water from the engines was stored there, and that's where I learned to swim.
A lot of
people,
yeah.
A lot of kids would swim, and that was right in this area right here.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And then the storage or the engine shed was out here.
Still farther down, huh?
Yeah. So, but the round. See, they used to turn engines around here.
Yeah.
Then they stored them here. Then they had water down here. So.
Okay, that's back when they had the steam engines with the colorful whistles and the choo 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 choo.
Yeah. Basic training. I come into Fergus Falls on the bus, and he took me down that road. And I think that's the very first time that I was on that road. So.
Well, I remember that most people stayed around town and did a lot of grocery shopping in town.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't go to Wapton very often because 15 miles on a gravel road was a long trip.
Yeah, well, they did. Yeah, they had Model A cars, Model T cars, and they had horses and whatever.
In particular, I remember how on a Friday night or Saturday night, I can't remember if it was both or just one of those, people would come from working in their farms or out of town, and they'd come in, and the stores would be open at night.
Usually on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And Wednesday nights in the summertime.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, do you remember the coal sheds off this city line here?
I remember the depot was here.
Okay. The coal sheds were here on this siding. And the depot was right in that area.
Okay,
So the coal sheds, I think he had 6 storage buildings altogether. You'd buy coal.
Mm-hmm.
And John Turback.
Turback, yeah, there's the name. Way back.
Yeah. And his youngest daughter, Joan, and I were in the same class.
Okay, how many of your classmates remain?
There's 18.
18 still alive?
Yep.
From the class?
17. We just lost one, so 17.
Okay.
And then there used to be a grocery supply house here. Gamble Robinson was here.
Yes, it was one of the biggest buildings in town, I think.
Right, yeah, it had a huge storage building. So, and then beyond here, there used to be a cattle
Feedlot?
loading.
Or
Well, they loaded cattle on the trains.
Yeah.
And they were stored here. So.
that's right.
And that's where the bums used to hang out.
Right, yes.
Yeah, they used to hang out, and then they'd walk the streets and knock on doors and
Well, they were looking for part-time work mostly, weren't they?
and begging for food.
Oh, they also did
Yeah,
that.
because they would come to our house.
Was that during the 30s?
Yep.
Okay, so there was that big work shortage. Everybody was looking for work in those days,
Yeah.
and there were some hard times.
Yeah, and they were looking for.
So these were not feedlots, but loading pens through here.
Yep.
And the town ended about here, or were there other?
Oh no. Okay, now let's see.
Right now, I don't know the streets by name, but this is probably 3rd Street.
Okay, we're on 3rd. This used to be the old town,
Okay.
the original old town. This is the addition. Now,
Okay.
the house that I live in was built in 1918.
Yeah, 1918.
And these houses were built in 1890s.
Okay.
Early 1990s.
Right.
This was the end of Fairmount.
Right here.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then there were
But
newer
then,
houses that were added going east.
yeah. So as we go down this street here, that picture I showed you of that Catholic school in the middle of the street,
Yeah.
that was at this corner.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And then they moved that school into this. Get there, I'll show
Now there's Zach's old house.
Yep.
Do you remember some of the history of who lived there at
you.
different times?
George Ballard owned that.
Okay, he was a banker.
He was the banker.
And Ballard was a partner to the Schuller?
Yep.
Ballard Schuller. That was in the 20s and 30s too.
Yeah, I can remember being in 5th and 6th grade. We always had to go to their house and recite poems.
Oh, okay.
Because
Was that for-
they had a ladies' organization.
Right.
And,
Well, that's a great memory.
Yeah, and we had to go there, but we always got cookies and milk.
Oh, sure. It's sort of like knowing whose house was the best to trick or treat at.
Yeah.
Did you trick or treat when you were a kid?
No.
You didn't. That came later.
But anyway, that school was moved into this area here.
Okay. The school no longer exists, did you say?
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Oh.
And so anyway, the Catholics bought it again, and they made that their parish hall. They moved it down.
Oh.
Moved it down to the parish hall. Now you went past it today if you came in from the north on that first block.
I came. No, I came from the south.
Oh, you came from the south. Okay. So, and then that school was built in 1902.
The brick one.
The first one. Yeah, because the gym was added on in 1930. 1932.
Remember who lived here in the original? The Von Hokrins lived here for a long time.
Yeah, and that's what I remember. So they said, John lived there when I was going to school. And, I don't know. It was long before that. So.
So along here, and I'll kind of recite where the different businesses were. I remember Dan Linehan lived, I think, in that
That
house.
house. Yeah.
Okay, that would be. Now Earl Dean's also was in this area.
Yeah, he lived over there.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Pete Nelson? Now, he was along that street over there too.
No, Pete Nelson lived down the street.
On that street. Okay. Yeah. Now, Gerald Thompson had all kinds of stories about Pete Nelson and his tales and their games that they did, dressing up like Indians or whatever, you know.
Well, I hate to say this, but I admire what was going on, but there was a lot of mischievous grown people in this town.
They were mischievous, huh?
Yeah, right, because
Now, right through here, this is where you said we had Gus Welge and his welding.
yeah. See, that would have been about right here. Yeah, and then the next one would have been Bill
Brady.
Brady, and then we had the Stegner produce.
Yes, Stegner.
Yeah, on the end there.
That was east of Brady's shoe shop.
Yep. And then there was another building in between, and I can remember that the American Legion bought that.
I'm going to pause here a minute. Was this where they used to have the big store?
No.
Or the big store was across the street?
Big store was over there.
Was it the same as Vaughn's?
Yep. That was the big store.
And they actually called it the big store, didn't they?
John Bond, what I can remember, John Bond owned this store, grocery store in this corner.
Mm-hmm.
Then he sold it and went across the street to the big store.
Okay.
And then that got to be a restaurant. Collins owned the restaurant.
Oh.
And it sat empty for quite some time too. And then the Legion bought it, had it for a while. And because I can remember helping out with stag parties. And I hadn't been to the service yet, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to take you down and show you this, where this parochial is called.
The Dray line.
Yeah.
So there were more than one of those, weren't there?
Yeah, Wilson had a Dray line. Aaron Wilson?
Aaron?
Aaron?
I don't know that name.
Really? That was Richard and Bill Wilson's dad.
Bill Wilson and Richard Wilson.
Yeah.
And what did Bill Wilson do?
Bill Wilson went to school at Fairmount. Richard Wilson was in my class. Bill was younger. And then there was an older boy, we called him Hubble.
Okay.
Now that family's all gone.
Okay.
Bill died first. No, Richard died first and then Bill.
Richard Wilson died quite suddenly, didn't he?
Yeah.
Of a heart failure or something?
No, he had a brain aneurysm.
Oh, I see.
Anyways.
But he had the Wilson's mobile station there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there was a hotel up farther by the intersection of Main and what is now Front Street here. Do you remember? Or was it Twin Gables?
Yeah, that wasn't a hotel. That was just a service station and a restaurant. Okay. You remember Ray Anderson's?
Yes.
Okay. His shop was right here.
Okay. I was thinking it was farther south. Because
It was. He moved.
Okay.
Okay. Ray Anderson had his shop here. Then there was an implement dealership here.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think. I know his name, but my mind is drawing a blank.
Albert and Meyer had a
Yeah.
repair shop just where Cenex is, or pretty close to there.
Yeah, obviously. But anyway, that implement shop sat in this corner. And then that's where Daryl had that Cinnabar thing.
Oh, that was the implement shop.
And he had storage there. And that became the bus barn. Then it was Salzer Lumber Company next to that.
In this space, that's gravel right now. That was all the lumber company and the implement company. And the last enterprise basically was Daryl's attempt to make those barbecues.
Yeah.
And there's a brand new building, which is probably Cenex property. Now, Twin Gables was at the end, huh?
Yeah, I'll show you. Cudahy was here.
Right. That was another big building.
Big enterprise.
Orville Roberts was here for a few years when I was in town. And
Cudahy closed up.
was he kind of like a management person from a larger? Was he issued from farther away?
No. He had his own business, and he was, realistically, an enterprise of his own. Then we had Standard Oil right here.
I'm trying to think of Standard Oil.
J.D. Swanson.
Oh, that was bulk oil.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Then there was a service. Then there was a service station here. Raleigh Allen owned at that time, and I think he was the standard oil. And then it was Ray Anderson. First it was Jake Phillips, and then it was Ray Anderson.
How long were the Phillips working with Hayden Fur?
Oh boy.
Hayden trash or
He
metals?
came out in 6th grade, and they left about
in the 50s.
50s, yeah. And then Farmers Union was here. And then where this Quonset is, that's where Albert Myers used to be.
That's right.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that, next to the railroad track, Aaron Wilson had his building. And he'd pick up freight off the train, and he would store all freight to the people in town. So
Okay.
that house has always been here.
Yeah, that's kind of out of place these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who Did a person live there?
No. Well, they did, but they don't anymore.
Yeah.
Butch Meyer owns it now.
Oh, I see. Where's Butch otherwise? Is he farming or?
He lives south of Hankinson, yeah.
Okay.
On a farm.
So this was a gas station here.
Right on the corner.
Yeah.
Yep. That was Twin Gables.
That was Twin Gables.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the pumps and the glass gasoline containers were kind of visible.
Yeah.
And
And you used to drive in right here.
that's right.
And
Yep.
then you go out that way. Now I run that for
Okay. Yeah.
about almost 3 years.